We're learning more about a church leader who died from injuries he suffered in a Dale County shooting last week.
He was identified as Pastor Aquarius Green, shot during a suspected domestic squabble at a Level Plains home. News 4's Jacqueline Lambert with this story that's drawing some mixed reaction on social media. Jacqueline?
Aquarius Green served Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church as its senior pastor. Hurt on December 23rd, Green, who had a history of domestic violence arrests, died Saturday. He was shot by a woman with whom he had a romantic relationship with and shared at least one child. Houston County Court information also reveals that 3 domestic violence charges Green faced last year were dismissed because the alleged victim refused to testify against him. A separate protection order.
2025, 2 days before Christmas. A gunshot explodes inside a home in Level Plains, Alabama. Pastor Aquarius Green collapses to the floor, blood spreading across his chest. His wife, Quinteria Massey, stands over him, gun still in her hand. But she's not alone. Their children watch in frozen silence. Every second burns into their memory, a moment they'll never forget. The police arrive. No arrests are made. The investigation stalls. Was this cold-blooded murder or desperate self-defense? Here's what makes this case so disturbing. Pastor Green wasn't just any victim. He was a man of God, a spiritual leader trusted by hundreds. But behind closed doors, there was another side to him, a violent side, a dangerous side. And on that December morning, everything came crashing down. The question is, who was really the victim here? Welcome to True Homicide Crime, where we explore true crime cases that make you question everything. Before we uncover what really happened, if you're new here, hit subscribe. We break down cases that challenge everything you think you know about right and wrong. And I want to hear from you. Have you ever heard of a case like this in your area? What state or country are you watching from? Drop a comment below. Now, let's meet the man at the center of this tragedy, Pastor Aquarius Green, a spiritual leader, a father, a husband, but also a man with a dark and violent past. Aquarius Green was 31 years old. He served as pastor at Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Alabama. To his congregation, he was more than just a preacher. He was a guide, a counselor, a man they trusted with their deepest struggles. When news of his death spread, the church released a statement on Facebook. It read, "With heavy hearts yet unwavering faith, we share that our beloved Pastor Aquarius Green has transitioned from this earthly life into eternal rest. We thank God for his time of faithful service, love, and spiritual guidance." Minister Devonta Palmer, a fellow pastor and friend, remembered Green fondly. He was a humble man, an honest man, a man who deeply loved God and his family, Palmer said. They weren't best friends, but whenever they crossed paths, at church or even at Walmart, they always talked. Palmer recalled one conversation that stood out. Green had opened up about fatherhood. He said it changed him, made him a better person, a better man. To his congregation at Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church, Aquarius Green was everything a pastor should be. He was 31 years old. He preached about love, forgiveness, and faith. People trusted him. They looked up to him. They believed in him. But there was another side to Pastor Green, a side his congregation never saw. In 2024, just 1 year before his death, Aquarius Green was charged with 3 counts of domestic violence. The allegations were serious. A woman, someone he shared children with, accused him of repeated assaults. She claimed he hit her multiple times. Even worse, she said he struck her while she was pregnant. A protection order was filed against him. The accusations were clear. The pattern was there. But here's the problem. All 3 charges were dismissed. Why? Because the victim refused to testify. This happens more often than you think. Victims of domestic violence often don't follow through with charges. Sometimes it's fear. Sometimes it's because the abuser manipulates them, promising to change. Sometimes it's hope. Hope that things will get better. Other times, it's pressure from family or the church to keep the family together. Whatever the reason, the charges were dropped. Pastor Green walked free. No trial, no conviction, no consequences. He went right back to leading his church like nothing ever happened. After his death, Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church released a statement. They called him a man of faithful service, love, and spiritual guidance. His congregation mourned him deeply. Minister Devonta Palmer, a fellow pastor and friend, spoke highly of Green. He called him a humble man, an honest man, a man who deeply loved God and his family. Palmer even remembered a conversation where Green talked about how fatherhood had changed him. He said becoming a father made him a better person. On the surface, it seemed like Dequarius Green was turning his life around. But behind closed doors, the truth was much darker. Now let's talk about Quintaria Massey. She was Pastor Green's wife, the First Lady of Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church. But by the time of the shooting, they were estranged. That means they were separated, or in the process of separating. Being a pastor's wife isn't easy. Everyone watches you. Everyone expects you to be perfect. You're supposed to smile on Sundays, support your husband, be the example for other women in the church. But what happens when your husband is hurting you behind closed doors? Quintaria was trapped. She couldn't just leave without people asking questions. The church community would pressure her to stay, to forgive, to stand by your man. After all, he's a man of God. Surely he can change, right? But Quintaria knew the truth. She had lived it. She had sought help before. Court records show she filed a protection order against Green. She wasn't imagining things. She wasn't overreacting. She was trying to protect herself. Here's something important to understand. The most dangerous time for a victim of domestic violence is when they try to leave. That's when abusers lose control. That's when they panic. And that's when violence often turns deadly. Studies show that women are 70 times more likely to be killed in the weeks after leaving an abusive partner than at any other time. Quintaria was caught between impossible choices. Her faith told her to forgive. Her children needed their father, but her survival depended on getting away. She was trapped between her faith, her children, and staying alive. And on December 23, 2025, that impossible situation reached its breaking point. December 23, 2025. 2 days before Christmas, the Freedom Heights neighborhood in Level Plains, Alabama, should have been filled with holiday joy. Families preparing for Christmas, children excited about presents. But inside Green's home on Rucker Boulevard, something terrible was about to happen. A domestic dispute breaks out between Pastor Green and Quintaria. We don't know exactly what started it. Maybe it was an argument about the kids. Maybe it was about their separation. Maybe it was something small that exploded into something bigger. But we do know the pattern. This wasn't the first time. It had happened before. Multiple times. The argument gets louder, more intense. The confrontation escalates. And then comes the most heartbreaking detail of all. The children are there, in the house, watching everything. They see their parents fighting. They hear the shouting. They feel the fear in the room. Then, a gun appears. A shot rings out. Pastor Dequarius Green falls to the floor. Blood spreads across his chest. He's been shot. The children stand frozen, unable to move, unable to look away. This moment will stay with them forever. Emergency services rush to the scene. Paramedics work quickly. Green is loaded into an ambulance and rushed to the hospital. For 4 days, he fights for his life. Doctors do everything they can. His family waits. His church prays. But on December 27, 2025, Pastor Dequarius Green dies from his injuries. The news spreads quickly. The church mourns. The community is shocked. But here's what's interesting. No arrests are made. Police describe it as a domestic incident. They don't charge Quintaria. They don't take her into custody. The investigation continues, but she remains free. Social media starts buzzing. Gospel Artist Entertainment, a popular Instagram page, posts about the case. They identify Quintaria Massey as the shooter. They claim she acted in self-defense. The post reads, "Prayers up, Montgomery, AL." Pastor Dequarius Green was fatally shot by his wife, First Lady Quintaria Massey. It's been reported that his children witnessed the tragedy. Let that sink in. The children witnessed everything. They saw their mother shoot their father. They watched him fall. They saw the blood. They heard the sirens. That kind of trauma doesn't just go away. These children will carry this for the rest of their lives. They'll struggle with PTSD, anxiety, nightmares, trust issues. They'll have a distorted view of relationships and love. Experts say children who witness violence between their parents often suffer long-term psychological damage. Some never fully recover. These children didn't just lose their father that day. They lost their sense of safety, their innocence, their childhood. And now, the question everyone is asking, was Quintaria a murderer? Or was she a victim who had no other choice? This case raises an impossible question. If you were in Quintaria's position, abused repeatedly, the legal system failed you, and you feared for your life, what would you have done? Do you think she had any other choice? Or is there never a justification for taking a life? I genuinely want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're finding this case as gripping as I did, hit that like button to help this story reach more people. Here's the critical fact. As of now, no charges have been filed against Quintaria Massey. Think about that. A man is dead. His wife pulled the trigger. But she hasn't been arrested. She hasn't been charged with murder or manslaughter. Why? Because authorities are seriously considering that this was self-defense. Under Alabama law, you have the right to use deadly force if you're facing imminent death or serious bodily harm. If you genuinely believe your life is in danger, you can defend yourself, even if it means killing the person attacking you. So what evidence might support Quintaria's claim of self-defense? First, there's Green's documented history of domestic violence. 3 charges in 2024, allegations of repeated assaults, a protection order filed against him. He allegedly struck a woman while she was pregnant. Second, there may have been physical evidence of a struggle at the scene, signs of a fight. Maybe injuries on Quintaria's body, bruises, scratches, marks that show she was being attacked. Third, the children were there. They witnessed everything. Their statements to investigators could reveal what really happened in those final moments. All of this gets reviewed by the district attorney. They'll decide whether to present the case to a grand jury. The grand jury will then determine if charges should be filed. But here's the complexity. Even if this was legally justified self-defense, a man is still dead. Children are still traumatized. A family is still destroyed. The community is divided. Some people see Quintaria as a cold-blooded killer who murdered a man of God. Others see her as a survivor who had no choice but to fight back. On December 28th, Elba Zion Missionary Baptist Church held a prayer vigil for Pastor Green. His congregation mourned him. They remembered his sermons, his guidance, his love for God. Minister Devonta Palmer said, "He did not deserve to die." But that raises an uncomfortable question. Can we mourn someone who allegedly hurt others? Can we grieve for a man who was accused of violence against women, against a pregnant woman? It's not a simple answer. Was this a desperate act of survival by a woman who had been pushed too far? Or did Quintaria cross a line that should never be crossed? The investigation continues, and the truth may be more complicated than either side wants to admit. Pastor Green's death didn't have to happen, and that's the tragedy. This case teaches us important lessons. If we pay attention, we can prevent the next tragedy. We can save the next life. Lesson 1. Dismissed charges don't mean the abuse stopped. When Green's 3 domestic violence charges were dismissed, everyone moved on. The church continued. His ministry continued. Life went back to normal. But the abuse didn't stop. It continued behind closed doors. Communities need to stay alert. Just because charges get dropped doesn't mean the victim is safe. Churches especially cannot look the other way. We must continue supporting victims, even when cases fall apart. Lesson 2. We need better prosecution methods. Too many domestic violence cases depend entirely on the victim's testimony. But victims are often too scared to testify. They're manipulated, threatened, pressured to stay silent. Prosecutors need to use other evidence, medical records, photos of injuries, 911 call recordings, witness statements, text messages. This way, abusers can be held accountable even when victims can't speak up. Lesson 3. Victims need real comprehensive support. Quintaria sought help before. She filed a protection order. But clearly, it wasn't enough. Victims need more than just a piece of paper. They need safety planning with trained professionals, emergency housing so they can escape, legal help to navigate the court system, financial assistance so they're not dependent on their abuser, and counseling to heal from trauma. If Quintaria had received all of this, maybe things would have ended differently. Lesson 4. Churches must put safety above reputation. This is hard to hear, but it's true. Churches often protect abusers because of their position. A pastor brings in donations. He leads the congregation. He's respected. So when accusations come up, there's pressure to keep it quiet, to handle it internally, to give him another chance. But spiritual counseling alone cannot fix violent behavior. Churches need to partner with domestic violence experts. They need to prioritize the victim's safety over protecting the abuser's image. Green should not have continued as pastor after those allegations. Period. Lesson 5. Separation is the most dangerous time. When victims try to leave, abusers panic. They lose control. And that's when violence often turns deadly. Green and Quintaria were estranged. They were separated or separating. That's a massive red flag. Add in the other warning signs: violence during pregnancy, a pattern of escalating abuse, previous charges, and this case was a disaster waiting to happen. There are tools that can identify high-risk cases like this. Experts can assess which situations are most likely to turn fatal. Those cases need immediate, intensive intervention. Domestic violence doesn't discriminate. It happens in religious families, wealthy families, educated families. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do for a living. The man who preaches about love on Sunday can be violent on Monday. We have to believe victims. We have to hold abusers accountable. And we have to provide real pathways to safety, not just prayers and hope. This is a tragedy with no winners, only victims. A man is dead. A woman may have killed to survive. Children are traumatized forever. Pastor Green's congregation lost their spiritual leader, the man who guided them, counseled them, prayed with them. Quintaria lost her husband. She may face legal consequences. And even if she's never charged, she has to live with the fact that she took a life. That weight never goes away. The children lost their father. But worse than that, they witnessed their mother shoot him. They saw everything. That trauma will follow them for the rest of their lives. The community is divided. Some people are grieving. Others are angry. No one knows what to feel. And the uncomfortable questions remain. Could this have been prevented? Who's really to blame? Is it the legal system that dismissed Green's charges and let him walk free? Is it the church that looked the other way and allowed him to keep preaching? Is it Green himself for his alleged violence? Or is it Quintoria for pulling the trigger? The truth is, it's all of the above. Pastor Green's death might have been prevented if the systems designed to protect victims had actually worked. If the church had taken the allegations seriously. If Quintoria had received the support she needed to escape safely. The only redemption from this tragedy is learning from it. Using it to save the next family. The next victim. If you know someone experiencing domestic violence, speak up. Offer support. Believe them. Don't wait until it's too late. Rest in peace, Pastor Aquarius Green, and may your death not be in vain. Thank you for watching this difficult case with me. If this story affected you, please share it. Awareness saves lives. And I want to hear your final thoughts. Do you think Quintoria will be charged? Should she be? What do you think will happen to those children? Leave your thoughts below. If you want more deep dives into cases that challenge our understanding of justice, make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on. Remember, domestic violence thrives in silence. If you or someone you know needs help, reach out. Speak up. You could save a life. Until next time, stay safe.